I have asthma. I want to be more active. I want to be more competitive. I want that recognition. But I can't exert myself too much or I get winded. I can't do any sports. Well, I have an answer for you. That answer is mixed martial arts. Okay? I'm not a doctor, but I do have asthma myself. I had severe asthma growing up as a child. I'd be in the hospital every other weekend sometimes. All right, they wanted to hold me back one of the grades in elementary school because I missed so much school due to my asthma, being in the hospital so much. There was a time when the doctors were talking about how my lungs were going to completely close at one point when I was in elementary school, and they were going to have to think of alternatives or, have me pass away. Those nurses and doctors had that conversation with my dad, okay? So I know what asthma is like. I grew up being active, playing outside, just trying to be that normal kid before everyone got a cell phone and all these video games to play. And I wanted to do sports like all the other boys, right? Luckily, I wasn't too much into football, all right? But in football, you do have to run a lot. You have to do suicides. It depends who the coach is and all that, but there's a lot of running, all right? And when you have asthma, running is not necessarily your best friend, all right? I know there's asthmatics out there that do run, but that's where I'm going at, okay? Hear me out. It just depends how you control your body. I will get there though. So, didn't like football. All right, baseball I thought was a little bit boring. Got into wrestling. All right, wrestling was amazing. It was fun. I was learning combatives. I was a form of mixed martial arts. Great workout. All right, but in most wrestling programs that I've seen, there's also a lot of running. All right, there's a lot of wrestling nonstop. It's a lot of working on your stamina. And when you have an asthma flare-up, you feel like you're working at 20%, 10, 15% of your normal 100%, and you feel like you can't keep up, right? Okay, I got out of wrestling eventually. I did a little bit in middle school, practiced a bit in high school, and then I got out and did mixed martial arts. Now here's where my life completely changed. At first, I had that trouble of, oh, I'm going through an asthma flare-up. I can't really fight. These people want to fight, and it's a lot of movement. All right? And I started realizing I could calm myself down more. I realized a lot of that was anxiety. Me exerting myself, me feeling winded. A lot of it was anxiety and fear while I'm mid-fight. All right, blocking shots, taking shots. And I'm scared. This other person's way better than me. They're way bigger. All right, I started as a teen fighting grown men, okay? I was like, oh man, I'm scared, but I'm still going to fight. And you get winded, and you get the crap beat out of you at the beginning, right when you join any kind of mixed martial arts gym. I kept going, and I was like, man, I can control myself more. I can control my breathing, I can control my heart rate, I can slow all that down and preserve my energy, have more energy than my opponent, see that, and then attack. Right? Okay. So I knew I could do that, but it was a challenge. It took me years to learn how to slow down your heart rate while you're getting punched. All right? Well, things are going bad, things are not going your way. You have to be confident. Confident that you're saving your energy. All right? That you're losing that anxiety. Even if the other person is confident that they're beating you up, you have to be confident in your defense. Confident that you'll be able to bounce back as soon as they get tired, because they will get tired at some point, asthmatic or not, right? And if you're the person with asthma and you see that the other person is more tired than you, oh, it's such a good feeling, right? It feels like asthma doesn't matter at that point. Like it's not even getting in your way. And that's because you're mastering how you perceive asthma, how it affects you, even if you're in the middle of a flare-up. All right, because I've been in those matches where my asthma is completely acting up. I've had flare-ups and I go train anyway, just for the challenge, right? To see how I can master things. And when I have a big flare-up and I can hardly breathe, I have to really focus on technique. And when you focus on technique, you're not using as much muscle anymore. And when you're not using as much muscle and ego and all these emotions, you're not using as much energy anymore. So, going back to conserving energy. All right, there's runners that are asthmatic and they love it because they learn how to control their heartbeat. They learn how to control themselves and their thoughts. All right? So, really any sport is for people who have asthma but at their own pace, right? That's the con of this all, is that it's at your own pace. But when you do mixed martial arts, when you're training against someone else, if you have more control over yourself, you're kind of controlling the situation, aren't you? And if you can control the situation of when I'm exerting myself, when I'm not, when I need to, and when I need to step back to conserve that energy, you can have more control of your body and the situation and of your asthma in itself. Asthmatic or not, let me know what helps you with your breathing when you're trying to train, when you're trying to do some physical exercise. Take care of yourself and much love, everybody.